Hi guys. So what we are going to do probably for this week and next week is that we are actually going to start working out of the textbook. Um, Burlington English is really good, but I wanted to try something a little bit different. I'm going to do the best I can to teach you the lessons as we go, and then have you complete the activities. So today we will cover 3 pages, pages 14, 15, and 16, okay? And they're in your packet, okay? And then those 3 pages you have to fill out while you watch the video, okay? After the video, you have 3 more pages that will be homework, okay? We are going to start Unit 1, which is Everyday Life, I believe. Okay, Lesson 1 is Everyday Life. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shut my camera off so you can't see me. And then I'm going to try to show you the lesson and try to be interactive on the lesson as I can. Okay. Let's see, share screen. Right here. Okay, so this is the first page in your packet, okay? And so this is the activity we're going to be doing, okay? So lesson 1 is called Everyday Life. Okay, our goal today is to analyze and create a schedule, okay? So let's look at A. It says, look at Lisa's schedule. What are her routines? All right, so you have your days of the week. See how we can do this here. Okay, so Monday to Friday, well, Monday to Thursday is technically called it's your work week. Sorry. I can't spell today, I'm sorry. Friday is your work week, right? Saturday and Sunday is your weekend, okay? So we have our schedule and it includes Monday all the way to Sunday, okay? And it has little breaks of times, right? So it has from like 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and then we have 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Let me zoom in because I'm afraid you can't see it. Okay. All right, so each time frame is 2 hours, right? So for example, you know, if you look at Lisa's schedule, you can tell that on Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, she goes on a run at 5:45. Okay. And Sunday, excuse me. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, she goes on a run. Okay. On Saturdays, she does yoga at 6 in the morning. Okay. At 7 a.m. Every single day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she walks the dog. Okay. You can also see that on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock in the morning, she has breakfast with her coworkers. It's right here. On Saturday mornings, she works at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, but on Mondays, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, she goes to work at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, on Tuesday at 9, she does grocery shopping. At 9, she runs errands. On Thursdays. And then on Saturday at 10, she goes shopping. Okay, Tuesday and Thursday, she goes to work at 1 o'clock. On Saturday, she meets friends at 2 o'clock. And on Sunday, she meets friends at 1 o'clock. Every Sunday at 5 o'clock, they have family dinner. Okay. On Mondays and Wednesdays, they have ESL class at 7. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, she has computer class at 8 o'clock. And on Saturday at 7, she watches a movie. Okay, so as you can see, let's scroll down a little bit. Right here where it says B, it says ask question about Lisa's schedule and use the conversation below as a model. Okay, since we're not in class together, it's hard to make a conversation. So what I want you to do is, let's see, this is one example, right? So student A, what time does Laura start work? She starts work at 9 a.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. When does she have ESL class? She has ESL class on Mondays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Okay, that's one example. Okay, I want you to give me 3 more. Okay, so we will actually do 2. We will do 1, number 2, together. Okay, so for example, so on the back of your paper or on another piece of paper, I want you to write 3 more conversations. Okay, and I want you to use the information from the schedule to make a new conversation. Okay, so for example, they talk about work and they talk about ESL class. Okay, let's look at, one of our examples can be, what time does Lisa meet with friends? Okay, so what time does Lisa meet with friends? If you look at her schedule, she meets with friends on Saturday and Sunday. So we can actually say when instead of what time. Instead of saying what time, because the times are different, so Saturday's at 2, Sunday's at 1, we can actually say, when does Lisa meet with friends? And we can just say on Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so your next one, it can be, when does she have family dinner? Okay, the answer is she has family dinner on Sunday at 5 o'clock. Okay, so this is example number 2. I want you to give me 2 more examples of a conversation. Okay, so you can use anything on here that you want to make conversations, but I need 2 more. You can put them on the back of your paper. Okay. All right. So now let's move on to the second page. Okay. So the next one is ask questions about Lisa's schedule again. This time use how often. Answer the questions using the frequency expressions from box. Okay. So let's see. Oops. I'm going to take, I have to clear it all. There we go. Okay. So how often? Oh, es que seguido, right? That is the phrase that we are using this time around. So then we are also going to talk about what's called frequency expressions. Okay, so expresiones de frecuencia, right? For example, once a week, una vez a la semana, every morning, cada mañana, twice a week, 2 veces a la semana, every day, cada día, every weekday, okay? So acuérdate que weekday, remember weekday, we're talking about Monday to Friday. 3 times a week, 3 veces a la semana. Every other day, un día sí, un día no. Every Saturday, cada sábado, or every Sunday, cada domingo. Sunday, excuse me. So instead of using what time, or when, now we are going to use how often. Okay, so it's the same thing. Here's example number 1. So student A, how often does Luisa have dinner with her family? Luisa has dinner with her family every Sunday, or Luisa has dinner with her family once a week. Okay, so here's where you're going to give me 3 more examples. Okay, so it's the same thing, but this time you're going to use how often, and you're going to use a frequency expression. Okay, so for example, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I'm going to use how often does Luisa walk the dog? Okay, my response, Luisa walks the dog. I keep trying to put Luis. Luisa walks the dog every morning. Okay, that's one example. I want you to give me 2 more examples of using how often and using frequency expressions. Give me a second here. Sorry, I'm looking at my book right now because I need to look at something quick. Where'd my mouse go? Okay, sorry. Okay, let's look at our screen again. All right, so now we are going to look at D, sorry. It says, where do frequency adverbs go in the sentence? Okay, study the charts below. Okay, so now we're talking about frequency adverbs. Okay, those are words, for example, like never, rarely, sometimes, usually, and always. Okay, never, nunca, rarely, raramente, sometimes, a veces, usually, a menudo, and always, siempre. Okay, so the question is, how do you know where to put them in the sentence? Okay, ¿dónde los pones? Okay, so for example, placement rules, okay, so las reglas for frequency adverbs. Okay, for example, before the main verb. Okay, so remember a verb, let's see, notation, text box. Okay, so remember a verb is an action, right? A verb is an action. All right, so when you're talking about before the main verb, o la acción principal, okay? In this case, if you look at, I wonder if I can highlight. Does it let me? Ooh, I don't know what it did. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We'll just do draw. No sé qué hice. Annotation, let's just go draw. Sí, que me va a tener paciencia. Okay, so our main verb is goes. Okay, so this is one sentence, right? Okay, Luisa goes running. So this is our frequency adverb. Okay, so if you have the verb, right before the main verb, you're going to put your frequency adverb. Okay, so for example, Luisa always goes running. Okay, which is not true. She usually goes running. Okay, or often. Okay, so now let's get the second example. This one right here. Okay, our main action is does, como hacer algo, right? So she, and then you have your frequency adverbs, then your main verb, and then your activity, right? So she sometimes does yoga. Okay, now let's look at the next one. After the main verb, be. Okay, remember your verb be. Okay, that is am, is. Remember, I am, he is, or he is. No, there's they are, we are, you are. Okay, so am, is, and are your verbs to be. Okay, so after your main verb, for example, okay, right here you have she and you have is. Okay, so you know that if you're going to use a frequency adverb, your adverb has to go after. Why does it? I don't know. Am I hitting the wrong one? It's possible. Okay, you know you have a verb to be right here. So you know that your frequency adverb has to go after. Okay, now let's look at the next one. It says, when you use sometimes, usually, or often, they can come at the beginning or at the end of a sentence. Okay, so, and that is only when you use sometimes, usually, or often. Okay, and that can go in the front or at the end. For example, sometimes Luisa starts work in the morning. Luisa starts work in the morning sometimes. Okay, next one, it's between the subject and the verb in short answers. Okay, in short answers, that's going to be your key. Respuestas cortas. Okay, so your short answers usually, okay, short answers usually start with yes or no. That's a short answer, right? So if your answer starts with with yes, okay, you are going to put your frequency adverb between the subject is she, and between the verb, does. Yes, she always does. Or no, she usually isn't. Okay, now let's look at our last one. It says, write the frequency adverb in parentheses in the correct place. Oh, excuse me, I skipped ahead. Rarely and never are negative words. Do not use not or never in the same sentence. Okay, so for example, she never plays tennis. Okay, again, this is a short answer, right? It doesn't start with yes or no, but it's a short answer. Es una respuesta corta. Okay, so we know that it'll be between the subject and the verb. She never plays tennis. Okay, so one of the rules there, though, is that you cannot use the word not and the word never in the same sentence. Especialmente because it means the same thing. Okay, so you are not going to use she doesn't never play tennis. No, you can have puedes escribir, she doesn't play tennis, or she never plays tennis. But you cannot have the same negative word in one sentence. Okay? All right. Now let's look at E. It says write the frequency adverb in parentheses in the correct place. Remember, sometimes the adverb can go in more than one place. Okay, so there can be more than one answer. All right. So let's look at number 1. It says Roberto. Okay, you have your, okay. Roberto rarely finishes his homework before class. Okay, I am actually going to give you a couple of minutes, like on the clock. So it's 4:07. At 4:12, we will answer these, okay? So go ahead and pause your video. And I want you to do numbers. So pause your video on YouTube, and I want you to do numbers 2 through 6, and then we will go ahead and correct or go over them, okay? Good luck. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and answer some of these, or we're going to answer all of them. Okay, if you have a different answer, do not erase. Okay, I want to see the answer that you have too. Okay, so for number 2, it says, Jerry comes to class on time. Okay, the frequency adverb that we are going to use is usually. Always, excuse me, not usually. Okay, so I have Jerry always comes to class on time. Okay, I put the word always between the subject and the verb. So our subject is Jerry, and our verb is comes. So I put the frequency adverb in between, or in the middle. Okay, number 3, it says, Sue eats lunch with her husband. Our frequency adverb is going to be sometimes. I have Sue eats lunch with her husband sometimes. Okay, remember when you use the verbs usually, often, or sometimes, they can either go at the front of the sentence, at the beginning of the sentence, or at the back. Number 4, our teacher sits at her desk while she is teaching. Okay, our frequency adverb is never. Okay, I have our teacher never sits at her desk while she is teaching. Okay, use the word never. I used it between our subject, which is our teacher, or teacher, and then used it after, or in between our subject and our verb, which is sits. Okay, number 5, Elia goes running in the morning before school. And I put often Elia goes running in the morning before school. Okay, the last one is Hugo works at night. To me, this is a short answer. Very short answer, actually. So I put it usually works. I I put it between our subject and our verb. Okay, like I said, you might have different answers, and that is okay. Do not erase your answers because I want to see what you had. All right, I do have to clear it so I can go to the next page. And I have to exit out of this. Okay. So F, it says use frequency adverbs to write sentences about Luisa. Look back at our schedule and exercise A. Okay, so this one, what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna let you do this one on your own. And when you give me your packets on Monday, I will look at these. I will look at question number 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now let's look at, we're gonna skip G, excuse me, but let's look at H. It says make a schedule of everything you do in 1 week. Okay, I know it says to tell your partner, but we don't have a partner, so I'm not gonna worry about that, okay? But I do want you to fill out the schedule because I wanna see what it is that you do every week. I wanna be able to figure out routines. Okay? Now, that is the end of the activity. I know it seems pretty short, I know, but remember you still have some work to do to fill out in the actual lesson, and then you still have the homework, okay? So then your homework is in black and white, okay? And it is pages 12, 13, and 14. Okay? If you have any questions about the lesson or the homework, please do not hesitate to either give me a call or send me a message, okay? Thank you.